Hey everyone, day number 5 to our fast track to a healthy gluten-free kitchen. Today is our live Q&A, so I've got a bunch of questions that I've gathered through the different lives and I've got written down here. And then I did post another post just about 30 minutes ago asking for any other questions, so I'll answer those too. And then if you do have any others that pop up during the live, you're welcome to go ahead and post those here and I will try and catch those and answer those as well as we go. So the first one is, what is whole food? And I wrote down some people's names, but I didn't remember to write down everyone. So I apologize if I don't say your name with your question. So whole food, I know in the one video I kind of said a lot of things not to eat. So this is a great question. So whole foods that I try and stick to are going to be like fresh, grass-fed, healthy meats, and fruits and vegetables. And now we do eat quinoa, and that's another question someone kind of asked a little bit more, but we make sure that we soak it. But originally I did not eat quinoa for a while to let my inflammation calm down. So a few things like that. Whole foods. And I think when people hear, okay, well, I just eat meat and veggies, like that's boring and I can't do anything with that. But with the right flours and things like that, you can do all sorts of things. So we make, I think I mentioned before, breadsticks out of squash and arrowroot flour. So I make scones with tiger nut flour, and that's a vegetable-based flour. Basically, it's a root vegetable. So there's a lot of different things that you can do that are whole foods that can still taste delicious and can be low inflammatory. So you're not using the grains or the legumes and things like that that can be inflammatory at first. So like I said, I recommend taking out all those inflammatory foods for at least 30 days. Some people need to go 90 days if their body's really inflamed to calm down. And then you can start adding those things back in. But if they are grains, legumes, nuts, things like that, you want to make sure that you soak them so that they are easier to digest so your body can handle those a little bit easier. Hi JD, glad you're here. And I know there's a few other people watching. I'm excited you're here with us. Another question, Mary Lundy asked, can just a little bit of half and half in coffee cause problems? So yes, I know that one, it's hard to give up dairy. Cheese was like my most favorite thing. That's what I ate for lunch every day, was a cheese quesadilla. So I totally get that dairy can be difficult to let go. But if you are sensitive to it, and I honestly think a lot of people are and they just don't realize it, it definitely needs to be cut out, because even just a little bit, you think about cross-contamination, what people deal with gluten. If they, some people are so sensitive that if they use a bowl that has gluten stuck in, like the old crevices that have been cut through from, maybe mixing in, they can react to that. So if that portion of the casein gets into your bloodstream, it's going to cause an inflammation response, even if it's just small. So I thought of an idea. I personally don't drink coffee, so I don't know what would taste amazing with that, but I know coconut butter is something probably pretty simple. It's basically the meat of the coconut chips that have been ground up, and it's thick and hard, and it gives foods a really creamy flavor. So that might be an option that you could try instead of the half and half. So hopefully that's helpful. Or if you do end up trying to make your own coconut milk, when you make coconut milk, the top separates the fat and it hardens in the fridge. So you could even scoop a little bit of that fat off and put that in your coffee as well. So something to try, Mary. Hopefully that's helpful. Sandy DeMarco asked if I was going to go on to tips on making organic, healthy foods cheaper and more affordable. And that's actually a bonus that I have in my course. So I have a whole list of different things to do, where to shop, how to buy things in bulk, all different types of tips that can really help you on saving. We've definitely been doing this for a while, and I've learned all sorts of tips and tricks to save money. So that will be a bonus in the course. So Debbie Stevens was asking, she has Hashimoto's as well, and was wondering what practitioner diagnosed me. So that's something I wanted to talk about real quick. It really is important to make sure that you are working with a really good doctor. And I am definitely more on the alternative, natural way of healing things. But when it comes to finding out root causes, sometimes you need help. The best kind of doctor to be able to help you with that is usually a functional medicine doctor. So these can be, that basically means that this doctor has done more training to figure out root causes of problems. So they're not going to just say, okay, well, you have a problem with this part of your body, I'm just going to treat that part of your body. We are a holistic being, and every part of our body is connected. And so you need to make sure that you find a doctor that understands that. So he's going to look, oh, there's a problem in this part. Well, maybe it's coming from your gut, or maybe it's coming from this. So, and they'll treat you more holistically as well. So, the doctor, and I guess to answer your question too, Debbie, the doctor that actually diagnosed me, it was an OB of all people, but I had been learning so much about leaky gut, and I was up at a girls' camp with our church eating my weird, crazy food, and this one girl said, hey, you eat like my mom. And she said, my mom has leaky gut, and her doctor's been kind of telling her what to eat. And I just was like, what? And I lived in a small town at the time, and I couldn't believe that there was a doctor there that actually like recognized leaky gut. So I went straight home and made an appointment with him, and just did like my physical that needed to be done for an OB appointment. But he actually felt my thyroid, and he said it felt, what was the word? I think squishy was the word that he used. And so he's the one that decided to run a full thyroid panel on me. And he knew what to test for. That's something important too. Someone else had asked if hypothyroidism means you have Hashimoto's. And I posted in there a link. And if anyone else wants that, let me know. I can just post it in the group so it's easier to find. But stopthethyroidmadness.com has a really good article about what tests need to be done to make sure that you're getting your thyroid completely checked. And so he knew what to test, and so that's when I was diagnosed with the Hashimoto's. And I honestly am so grateful for that doctor. I mean, Hashimoto's, you can have dry skin and hair falling out and all sorts of things. And luckily it hadn't gotten that severe yet, that we were able to catch it early on. So that's why it really is important to work with a good, either functional medicine doctor or even a really good naturopath. They usually seem to know more natural and holistic ways to look at things to get things healing. So hopefully that's helpful for some of you guys. Someone else had asked, when I was talking about the tight junction, she asked, are those the villi? So yes, the cells are the villi, and the tight junction is the part that's in between the villi. So that's what opens up when you have a leaky gut. So hopefully that answers that question for you. Melanie Shaw asked, I seem to do okay with beans and rice and quinoa. What are your thoughts with not going 100%? So I don't want to be here to be the person to say this food is good and this food is bad. I don't want to make food good or bad or right or wrong. I'm just sharing what I've learned. And so for me and for what I've studied, it really is, if you're having any type of inflammation problems, so digestive problems, any autoimmune problems, if you have celiac, anything like that, it really would be in your best interest to take those foods out, at least just for 30 days, because sometimes we don't realize, like, oh, I have that nagging headache, but I don't really notice that it's there until I take that food out. And then I'm like, oh, wow, I feel so much better. And then we realize, oh, I was reacting to those foods. I didn't realize it because I was always having that food. So I think that's a big key with dairy too, is people are always having it, and so they just don't notice that they don't feel great until they take it out, and then they're like, oh, I feel so much better. Like, I didn't realize I could feel like this. So I hope that kind of gives you an idea, Melanie. So I'm not going to tell you do it, don't, but you feel, if you think that you could try it out for 30 days and see a difference in your body and how you feel, I think it would be beneficial. And then you can add those things back in, like I said, and see how your body deals with those. I'm going to see if I can scroll up and make sure there's no other questions. Okay, before I get down too far. Let's see. Suzanne Tucker asked a couple of questions. She asked, what is the best brand of bread with clean ingredients? So honestly, I haven't found one. I really have wanted to. I found one that's pretty close, but I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. But it still had things like gore gum and these binders and thickeners that are still hard on our gut. And so I haven't bought store-bought bread in years. So I've just learned to make my bread. And I will share that one of my bread recipes with you guys. So if I forget, remind me. I'll post it after the video. If you can handle eggs, I have a really delicious bread recipe that I'll share with you guys. So hopefully that's helpful for you, Mary. Let's see. And she also asked, where do you find the recipes like flatbread, pizza, etc.? So all of those recipes will be in my course. One of the bonuses is the over 100 recipe book that I've created. And I also have a 28 or 30-day meal plan where I'm going to have all of your meals planned out. And I also do it in a way that helps you with meal prepping so that you're not spending so much time in the kitchen. So all of the meals will be strategically planned out so that your meal prepping will go faster as well. But like I said, all those recipes will be in there. Real quick, JD is asking, still reeling from the info about what happens when you cook with olive oil. Going to take a minute to get my head wrapped around that. So considering other fats okay to cook with, refined versus unrefined coconut oil. And it comes in a more solid form and a liquid form. Have them all. Don't know what to use each form or if it